This is that one piece of glass that every content creator should have. Well, that's according to me. The first time you use this filter, which I have in my hand, will be the last time you shoot without it, because it makes that much of a difference on your content or your footage. The big question would be, what sort of difference would this piece of glass or this filter have on your content? Well, when I started using these filters, I found that my skin tones were much more pleasing. They were softer. The lighting was not as harsh as it used to be before I started using these filters. Well, the thing about digital cameras today is that some of them are just a little bit too sharp. Canon has this feature where you're able to dim down the sharpness on your camera, but on your footage. But at the same time, I feel that it doesn't quite get you to where these filters would. So the moment I started using these filters, my footage was much softer. I could also have an added feature in terms of being able to control the light that came into my lens. With ND filters, I was able to dim down the light and do stuff like that. So these ND filters, or these filters, are the pieces of glass to have. And the beautiful thing about these filters is the fact that they are not too expensive. Let's look at the different types of filters that I have in my bag. Now, I would prefer to just keep 3 filters. A 1/4 filter. This is a 1/4. This is a 1/2. So I would opt to keep just these 2 filters in my bag and leave the rest. Maybe I would, then add an ND filter, which would be this little guy right here. I'm not sure if you can see him, but this would be that little guy right here. Now, this little guy allows me to dim down the amount of light coming into, my camera. But we'll do an experiment where we look at the light a little bit later on. For now, let's talk about this other, ND filter that's a little bit more bulky, that is sitting on the table. Now, this is the filter that I'm talking about. This is a, ND filter from Tilta. It works nicely with a matte box that I got from Tilta as well. And it really just helps me to dim down the light. Maybe let's do a little bit of an experiment and show you what I mean specifically by that. So in my hand here, I've got a light. Now, this light in this instance is going to be emulating the sun, and we're going to try and turn off the sun. Let me just adjust this a little bit there so that I can, brighten it. So when I put this in front of my, in front of the sun, you can really see the impact that it has when it comes to, how the sun looks. Already on the main camera, I'm using an ND filter. So already that sort of looks a little bit dimmer than what you would see there on the actual camera that I'm using. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we would then dim the light. So say, for example, I'm shooting on a very bright sunny day and I want to try and see if I can reduce the light. Now, that's our sun. Look at what's going to happen to it as I adjust my ND filter. You can literally turn it off completely. Basically, if you wanted to do photography during a solar eclipse, this would be the thing to get, because it allows you to, sort of regulate the amount of light that comes into your lens. That is a beautiful thing to have. And the thing about this filter, what I found is that it adds a little bit of a tint, a cinematic tint to your footage. I don't know if I like that or not, because if on a day where I don't want that tint, then it's going to be an issue for me. But you can definitely see the light when I put this on. You can definitely see it when I put this off. On, off, on, off. So guys, let's talk about the prices for these filters. Let's see how much they're going to set you back on. So the one that I have in my hand here, it's a 1/4 82mm from Newer, and it's also a black diffusion filter, which will cost you around $42 to $45. If you're buying it in South Africa, that's around 600 to 700 Rand, depending on the exchange rate. The second one that I have in my hand is a Nano C series black diffusion filter from K&F Concepts, and this one is going to cost you somewhere around 730 Rand, or alternatively between $45 to $47, somewhere there, depending on the exchange rate. And then the next one that I have is also from Newer. It's a black diffusion filter as well at 1/2 for 82mm lenses, and this specific one is going to cost you somewhere around 400 Rand or around $24 depending on the exchange rate. These are not too expensive, guys. This is not like buying a very expensive lens. This is not like going and upgrading any sort of kit that you have. These are just basic filters that you can buy from your local store and step up your content creation game. I'm not going to put the price for this because it doesn't go alone, so it doesn't fit into the spec of filters that we're sharing here. If you want to buy this specific thing, you need to look at the Tilta Matte Box set. And yeah, it won't help you to buy this standalone. You need to buy it as a set. The big lesson for me was that I did not have to upgrade my camera and buy a cinema camera, but my footage could also look cinema. You know, like when other people look at it, they'll be like, what did you shoot it on? I'm like, no, I shot it on a normal mirrorless camera from Canon. And they're like, what? There's something about this, you know, content that's different. And I'll be like, yeah, man, I used a black diffusion filter and it was a 1/4 or 1/2. And that just makes the whole experience so different and so enjoyable. Guys, go out there and get yourself an ND filter so that you can step up your content creation game. Content creators, let's share this video so that we can all upscale and improve the quality of content we give to our customers. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. From me and the guys in studio, it's cheers for now.